All right, so we're going to talk about the atom. I think this is the first chapter which you did in class. Can you hear me? Yes. So the chapter that we're going to be discussing today, and we're going to be talking about, it's about the atom. So we are going to go in details what exactly is atom. So in your books or in your study books, the way they mention it, probably they normally say so they normally mention it as it's the atom basic building block. All right, yeah. So I'm just using this one so that we can have a line probably nicely. Okay, and let me just familiarize myself with. Okay. So normally this chapter is about the atom, and then it's about the basic building blocks. So it's about the basic building blocks of all matter. So the first thing that I'm going to give you now, I'm going to give you a summary of exactly what we are talking about. Then I'm going to go straight to the chapter. But the summary is only just going to help you to understand what is atom, everything that we are talking about the atom. Then after that summary, we're going to go to a topic now, exactly what we need to do. Then after that, we're going to also do some examples of this chapter. So okay. The first thing I talk about, you can also take a note. If you are not taking a note, you will get the video. I'm still going to send you. I think I'm recording this video. So when we talk about the atom, can you confirm, are you hearing me clearly? There is no problem.
Yes, I can hear you. There's no problem.
Okay, so when we talk about the atom is the basic building blocks of all the matter, and it is composed of 3 types of particles. So those particles that we're talking about, we are still going to discuss them. So the atom is composed of 3 particles. So those 3 particles are, the first one is protons. And then the second one is neutrons. And then the third one is nucleus. I'm sorry, not nucleus, sorry. It's electrons. It's electrons. So which means in an atom, which means you must accept that they will have a protons, neutrons, and electrons. So when you have that, the second thing that you must do, which I can advise you, you must also print the periodic table. Did they give you a periodic table at school?
Yes, they did.
So at least print it, put it maybe in a wall or somewhere whereby when you are studying, you take it out so that in your predictable, everything is arranged based on neutrons, protons and neutrons and electrons. So they differ from number 1, number 6 up to number, I think it's 40 something or 50 something. Then they are arranged like that. So the moment when you get familiarized, when you familiarize yourself with that periodic table, then you won't have a problem when it comes to the other chapters. When it comes to another chapters, I mean like when you go to maybe grade 11.
Okay.
So now, what is proton? Okay, yes. Fine, let me just take it out because I'm not writing properly. I was charging this device, that's why I'm not. So what is proton? So protons are positively charged particles located in the nucleus of the atom. So that's the definition of protons. They are positively charged particles that are located in the nucleus of the atom. So the number of protons in an atom's nucleus determine what element it is. So which means the number of the protons in the nucleus, they determine what element it is. So in your periodic table, you will see that the way it's written, if you open, just that I don't have my periodic table with me. I didn't print it, but I will print it today. So if you check, if you go to number 7 in your periodic table, it will show you that I think number 7, is it hydrogen? So you will see that it have the proton there is 7, but I'm not sure if it's hydrogen because I don't have my periodic table. So for example, if you check, we have carbon. So all the carbon atoms have a 6 protons in their nucleus. So they have 6 protons in their nucleus. So let's talk about neutrons. Neutrons are neutral particles are also located in the nucleus of the atom. So they have similar mass to protons, but no charges. So when we say there are no charges, so in this one, when we say it's a positive charges, so in the neutron, they are neutral. It's like there is nothing. So normally there are no charges, but the mass is the same. So when we go to electrons, they are going to be negatively charged. They have a negative charges. So the difference between the, like in a proton, you have a positive and a negative. So we're gonna speak also about that, what happens between negative and positive. So just for today, we are just discussing about the atom, what is exactly atom and what is composed of. So when we speak about electrons, they are negatively charged particles that orbit the nucleus in shells or energy levels. So let me just write this. So I'm just gonna write up to there. That will be the nucleus, inner shells or energy levels. So they are much smaller than protons and neutrons, and they have a negligible mass compared to them. So the number of electrons in an atom's shell determines its chemical properties. So now we're gonna talk about the arrangements of electrons in the outermost shell in it, and we have to determine also the element's chemical property. And we're also going to talk about the relativity and the bonding capabilities of those atoms. So the other thing that you must take into account, an atom can lose or gain or share electrons within other atoms to form molecules. So when we say that, that's why sometimes we're going to have CH2 or CHO or H2O, something like that. So, which means this is very important atom. They can lose, gain, or share electrons with other atoms to form molecules. So even if you are not really taking notes, I'm still going to send you a version, a proper version whereby if you want to read about today's lesson, you can also read through it. So they can form and they can lose, gain, or share electrons with other atoms to form molecules, compounds, and other structures. So that's all about the atom. So in your periodic table, you will find, let's say it's a carbon. It will be written a number here, and it will also be written a number there. And I think also here. So it's just that I don't have a periodic table with me, but let me just open one so that we can, do you have yours there with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So chemistry, there is not much of calculations, né?
Yes.
It's just the matter of, it's a theory. If their calculation is just small calculation for balancing the equations, so you don't have to worry about that. So in your periodic table there, you can go. If you check carbon, you will see that is number 6. Ne? On top there, they will write 6. So the 6, it represents the protons on top. So like hydrogen is number 1. The protons is number
Yes.
1. And then also they will indicate the mass
Yes.
of this. So that's what. So if you understand that with chemistry, you only just need to understand the theory of chemistry. So if you read that, but you don't really have to memorize that. What is it? You don't really have to memorize everything about, like, you don't have to memorize everything. When I say everything, you don't really have to memorize that periodic table. So now we're gonna talk what is a matter. Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. Ne? So that's a matter. So when we talk about the matters, so all matters, whether it can be solid or liquid or gas, is made up of tiny particles called atoms. So when we talk about the matter, which means matters, they are composed of atoms. So atoms are the basics. I already defined what is atom. They are the basic building blocks of matters. And then they are the foundation of chemistry and physical sciences. So the structure of the atom, I think you know about that. So the structure of the atom, I already told you about it. That is composed of three things, which is protons, neutrons, and electrons. So even if the question comes to you, they can test you maybe for 1 mark to see if they know you know what you are doing. They can ask you, what is the structure? Mention three things. Mention three things that are like the structure. Maybe they can say mention what are the, or they can say atom is consists of how many things, or mention three things that is composed of atom, or like that. It depends on the examiner. So you must remember that an atom is consist of three things: particles, which is protons, neutrons, and electrons. So I already gave you the definitions of protons and neutrons and electrons. So the properties of atoms, that was introduction. I already gave you some. So it have several properties. The atom, those properties include the mass, atomic radius. Let me write those properties of atom. So the properties of atoms. So it have atomic mass, and then it also have atomic radius. And then we also have electronegativity. So when we talk about the atomic mass, the first one that I just mentioned there. So when we talk about the atomic mass, so atomic mass is the mass of an atom, the one we have been talking, the one when I told you about the periodic table that is written there, like for carbon is 12 point something, it's written in your periodic table. So this atomic mass is determined by the sum of the protons and the neutrons in the nucleus. So the atomic mass, is determined by the what? By the sum of protons plus what? Plus neutrons in your nucleus, in a nuclear. Neutrons. So that's the meaning of when you're calculating the atomic mass of the atom. So when we talk about the atomic radius, so atomic radius is the size of an atom and is determined by the distance between the nucleus and the outermost electron. And is determined by the distance is determined that the distance between the nucleus and the outermost electron. So now we're gonna go to electronegativity. So I guess this one you can also guess it if you don't know, because it's just telling electron and negative, electrons and negative. So is the measure of atom's ability to attract electrons towards itself. Are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. I'm just asking. I hope today you don't have load shedding.
No, we don't. We don't get load shedding.
Oh, okay. That's nice, eh? It's a very good thing. I also don't get load shedding where I stay. So electronegativity is the measure of atom's ability to attract electrons toward itself. So when we talk about that, so in atom, what happens in atoms? They are not always stable. Ne? So the atoms, they're always vibrating. They're always shaking, going like to and fro. They're always like oscillating, vibrating, because inside there is a positive and negative. And you know that things that are positive and negative, they are not friends at all. So it makes the atoms to be always vibrating. So that's why we have this thing called electronegativity. So which is let me just write the definition. Is the ability of it to attract electrons towards itself. So I hope by now, if they can ask you few definitions, which means you will be able to answer them.
Yes.
Or if I can ask you what is proton, you can just summarize maybe a keyword.
What is what?
Atom, a proton.
A part.
You should have just said positive charges. That's what I want. As long as you know that protons, it have positive charges, electrons have negative charges, and then neutrons have what? No charge, have no charges, but they have mass, which is equals to protons. Did you hear what I said now? Then
Yes.
that's when you are there. So I'm going to give you a question. Eh? This is a simple question. We're going to do a few worked example. This one is very simple because I won't ask you much questions based on what I will assume that we are starting today. And maybe you just heard what I said. What is the atomic number? Can you take this one, or should I do it for you? Then you do the next one. You can choose.
Can you do this one and then I'll do the next one?
Okay, what if the next one is harder than this? Okay, it's fine. The question says, what is the atomic number of an element that has 12 protons? So we know that based on the periodic table, we go and check what is the element with 12 protons. So the first thing that you know that the atomic number is the number of protons in an element. Ne?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna, after that, when we know that is the number, so now when you know that the question, okay, let me just repeat the question so that you can hear what exactly is saying. The question says, what is the atomic number? They want you to know the atomic number of an element that has 12 protons. So we know that atomic number, based on the answer that I gave you, is the number of protons in an element. Therefore, the atomic number of that element is going to be what? 12. So the only thing that we can do, if we want to go deeper, we can just check which atomic number, which one is number 12 in our periodic table. And the number 12 in our periodic table is what? Is magnesium. But the question didn't say, it didn't mention that you must say magnesium. It wanted to know the atomic number, the question. So this one was the simple one. So now I'm going to this one. This one you will have to do some calculation as you choose. I gave you the option. So its atomic number is 12, because atomic number is the same as the number of protons. So how many neutrons? How many neutrons? How many does an atom of carbon So how many neutrons does an atom of carbon 14 has? So the first thing, you must not remember what is neutrons.
Neutrons are the particles that have no charge.
Okay, but it has a mass.
Huh?
Can I ask you a question again before? Okay, beside this question, is the question that I'm asking is going to help you to answer this question. What is the mass of an atom?
What is the mass of an atom?
Yes, or what is the mass of an atom? What is composed of?
Protons and neutrons.
Okay, then if you understand that, then answer the question. I'm giving you 2 minutes. I'm going to be taking my water while you are figuring it out.
Okay.
Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, what is your answer?
6.
It's wrong. Okay, let me help you with this one. Okay, in this question it says how many neutrons that an atom of carbon-14 has? So what we know about carbon, we know that carbon is in the periodic table is number 6. It has 6 protons, né?
Yes.
So when it has 6 protons, we know that the mass of a proton is equals to what? Protons plus what? Plus neutrons. My pen, what's wrong with this pen? All right, plus neutrons. So now we are dealing with carbon-14, which have a mass of 13. So in order for me to know the neutrons in this carbon-14, which means I'm going to say neutrons equals to protons, it's carbon-4 equals to mass, which is 14 minus what? 6, which is protons, because the mass is composed of, atomic mass is composed of protons plus neutrons. So which means the neutrons, they are going to be what? 8. So the answer to that question is 8. So the number of neutrons in carbon-14 is what? Is 8.
But there's no 14 on the periodic table for carbon. What does the 14 mean?
So when there is no 14, so they told you in the question might come, the way it came here, they told you that it's carbon-14. So they define
Yes.
for it, not based on the periodic table. So only things that you need to know. The only thing that they are testing you that do you know that the mass is equals to what? The proton plus what? Plus neutrons. Do you understand it now?
Yes.
If you check in your periodic table, you will see that the only thing they write there for carbon is what? Is 6, which is protons, and mass, which is 12.
Yes.
You see that? So that's an
Yes.
atomic mass. That what? Carbon. So here, when they define it in the question, they defined it based on their own way. So they told you that instead of 12, they are using what? 14. That's why they call it carbon-14.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
That's why if I go back there, you will see in the question the way I wrote it. You see, what is the atomic number of an element that has 12 protons? Okay, that one we're already done with it. Let me check for the one we're doing now. Okay, yeah, it's fine. I think I can't see it properly. Yeah. How many neutrons does an atom of carbon-14 has? You see, carbon-14. So this one, it means the mass. So the only thing that you needed to know was that for carbon is number 6, and 6, it means protons. And then for this 14 is composed of 6 protons plus neutrons. So which means it's 6 plus neutron, which comes to what? 14. So which means your N is going to be 14 minus 6, which is 8. Do you understand it now?
Okay. Yes, I do.
All right. Mara, okay, this one you're still gonna get it, fine. Let's do this one. An atom has 14 protons and 9 neutrons, ne?
Yes.
What is the mass number?
An atom has what?
An atom has 14 protons and 9 neutrons. What is the mass number? That's why I'm not writing it down, because I think you're gonna just mention fast.
23.
Why do you say 23?
Wait, I'm still using it. Because when you add protons and neutrons, you get the mass number.
Okay, an atom has, I'm just writing it down, has 7 protons.
Oh, 7. I thought you said
and
14.
9, oh, okay, 9 neutrons.
Oh, I thought, okay.
So now what is the answer?
I answered 16.
Hello?
16.
16, perfect. That's a right answer. You got it right. So now let's go to this one. You see these questions that if you know only about protons, neutrons, and electrons, you see that you can get total. It's very simple.
Yes.
Exactly what I'm teaching you is exactly what they are going to ask you in this chapter. There is nothing more that they won't say. It's exactly what we are doing today. So what is the atomic radius? Okay, this one is yours. What is the atomic radius of an atom that has 6 electrons in the second energy level?
I don't know how to do the sign.
Hello?
Hello.
You don't know how to do it? Okay. So the first thing before you can answer this question, we must remember what is atomic radius? Did you forget what is atomic radius?
The size of an atom and
Hello? Okay,
is
I'm sorry.
determined by the distance between the nucleus and the outermost electron.
Okay. So now you understand. Do you really understand that definition you just mentioned now?
No.
You don't understand it. Okay, now I understand. Then I'm gonna explain to you. All right. So now when we talk about the definition, you are right. Is the size of what? Can you repeat it again?
The size of an atom and is determined by the distance between the nucleus and outermost electron.
All right. So now when you start talking about that, when you understand that we are talking about the size. So the question when that question there it says, the question that you are doing says, what is the atomic radius? It need to know the size of atom that has 6 electrons in the second level, energy level. So the problem part there, which is confusing, is the second energy level. So you must know what is the second energy level. So the second energy level can hold up to, it can hold the second, you must take note of this, second energy level, it can hold up to 8 electrons, it can hold up to 8 electrons. So when it can hold up to 8 electrons, so it means that the atom has what? It has 2 electrons. It has 2 electrons. It has 2 electrons in the first what? In the first energy level. In the first energy level. In the first energy level. So which means it can hold 2 electrons. So when it can hold 2 electrons, it means that, sorry, it can hold 2, it has the atom has 2 electrons in the first energy level, and these 6 electrons in the second, and then also 6 electrons in the second level, energy level. So which means
Yes.
the atomic radius of this atom is it will be increasing as you move down there. Is it you are going from the second, you go to the, you are from the second, you will go to the downwards. So it's gonna decrease so the answer there is 2.
Please explain it again.
Okay, okay. The first thing that I'm going to say, the atom, the second level can hold up to 6 electrons, and the
Yes.
radius, the atomic radius, is the distance between what? The electrons and what? And the nucleus, from where it started going, you see. So when that distance, if it goes from 6, from 8, if it can hold 8, therefore the atom has a 2 what? Electrons, because these electrons that we are dealing with, it have 6 electrons in the second level. So which means there are 2 electrons there, which we didn't use because it have 6 electrons.
Yes.
That. So it have 2 electrons in the first energy level. Second is having what? 6. And the first one is having 2. So that when you combine them, is 2 plus 6 is going to be what? Is going to be 8. And 6 also in the second question says. So the atomic radius of an atom increases as you move down a group on the periodic table. So therefore, when, because of the distance, okay, let me just write A. Let's say is C. Then here is level 2, second level. You see, here there are 6 electrons. Negative, 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 6 of them. Here in the first, there will be 1, only 2. You see, because of in second level, this it can hold, because of what? In the second level, it must hold 8.
Yes.
So now, when we subtract 8 minus 6, you're going to get 2, which is the one which in the first there. So which means the radius, you must, when you mention it, is going, the atomic radius is going to be 2. So the way you can answer it in a good way, instead of writing 2, is a question whereby you can answer it based in the, like, theoretical. So when you answer it theoretically, you can say atom will have you will say the atomic radius will have a large atomic, or you can say the atom will have a large atomic radius than an atom with 6 electrons in the third energy level. So this is still the same answer. So here in this one, they don't want you to really mention that you have only to write 2. They need you to tell them exactly. They want to know if you understand about the atomic energy level. Do you get it?
Okay.
So the
Yes.
answer, your solution must state like this. Ne? You must say the energy level, the second energy level can hold up to 8 electrons. Ne? Therefore, this atom has 2 electrons in the first energy level and 6 electrons in the second energy level. Ne? The atomic radius of an atom increases as you move down a group on the periodic table. Therefore, you stop there. They are going to award you full amount. That's the solution for this question.
Okay.
So this one is not really hard. Also, it's gonna be more like the one we are doing now. So I'm hoping you're gonna also get it. It's a grade 10 work. An element has atomic number of 8. Ne? You go to your periodic table. If you have atomic number 8, an element So it says an element has an atomic number of 8. So in your periodic table, what is the atomic number 8? How many electrons that it have in its outermost energy level? So if you go to a periodic table, you will find out that the one with atomic number 8, I'm going to check, 8 is oxygen. Did you see that? When it's oxygen, the element has an atomic number 8 is oxygen. Oxygen has 8 electrons.
Yes.
So which means if it have 8 electrons and the first and the second energy level are full with 2 electrons in the first level and 6 electrons in the second level.
There's going to be 2 in the third.
In the first is going to be 2, in the second is going to be 6.
Yes.
So remember, we also know that energy level in the second, it have 8, up to 8. Ne? So it divide with 6 and 2, ne? So that they can form 8. So when they form 8, they increase as the atomic radius, it increases as it goes what? Down the periodic table. Ne? So
Yes.
the atomic level, ne, therefore, contains 6 electrons. Because the question is how many electrons that it have, ne, in its outermost energy level. We are controlled by this term. How many electrons does it have in its outermost energy level? So the outermost energy level is that this oxygen, it have what? It has 8 electrons. It's true. When it have 8 electrons, it means that the first and the second levels are full. So the first one is filled by 2, and the second one is filled by the remaining. Okay, maybe let me explain to you what exactly I'm talking about. You see, it's an oxygen.
Yes.
So the electrons here, when it's oxygen, we are talking about plus and minus here. So the first level, you must always know that the first level, it will hold 2, ne? In each and
Yes.
every, ne? Then the second level, it will hold the remaining. But when it can hold the remaining, both of these two, when we add them, it must give us 8 because the energy level, second energy level plus the other one, it must hold up to 8. So if it's above 8, which means we're also going to have third level, energy level. Do you understand what is happening now?
Yes.
Okay. So the question now, they told that is number 8, is 8 in oxygen. So when we divide, we're going to say 8 minus 2 for the first level, we're going to remain with 6. 6 is still less than 8. Then which means in the second level is going to be 6. The one with a higher what? The one with a higher electrons is what? Is the level with the higher electrons is what? Is level 6. Is second level. So which means the answer that you can give, even if you say the outermost energy level is what the outermost energy level contains what? 6 electrons, then you are right.
Okay.
I'm still gonna give you a small summary based on these questions, but I think now you are starting to understand when we talk about energy level, né?
Yes.
All right. So let's try this one. You're gonna get it right. It's simple. How many electrons does an ion with a charge of -2 have if the neutral atom has 12 electrons?
Please repeat the question.
How many electrons does an ion with a charge of how many electrons does an ion with a charge of -2 have if the neutral atom has 12 electrons? Should I repeat again?
Yes, please.
How many electrons does an ion with a charge of -2 have if the neutral atom has 12 electrons?
14.
14. Why did you say 14?
Because when it's negative, you add electrons.
Okay, your answer, you are right, is 14. You are right, because when it's negative, it means that the atom, it have gained.
Yes.
Yeah. It have gained the electrons. So when it have gained the electrons, then it means that you are going to add 12 electrons plus 2, then it will have 14 electrons.
Yes.
All right, you are right there. So this one, I'm gonna write it down, but I think you're going to get it right. Okay. So the question says, an atom of an unknown element has an atomic number of 19. We know which element, we can check what is that element, and a mass number of 39. How many neutrons does it have? This one is simple already.
The element is potassium. And
then how many neutrons does it have? That's the
it has
question.
20.
20, ne? Perfect, yeah. Remember, the atomic number of an element is 19, which means that it has what? 19 protons. The mass number of that element is 39. That means that the sum of protons and the neutrons equals to the mass. Therefore, you just subtract 39 minus 19. You're going to get 20 atoms. So I'm going to give you this one. Let me see. This one, you're going to get it. An atom has an atomic number of 11, eh? And a mass number of 23. What is the symbol of this element?
Atomic number of
11 and has a mass number of 23. Let me check it first in my okay, I already got it. What is it? Oh, no. 10.
And okay. I must give you the symbol.
Should I repeat the question?
Yes, please.
An atom has an atomic number of 11 and a mass number of 23. What is the symbol for this element?
Na.
Yes, it's true. And it's sodium, ne? Sodium or something.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So it means that if you understand this work, so if you understand exactly what we did today, then I don't want to panic you too much. Then we're gonna continue tomorrow, ne?
Okay.
And we're gonna continue tomorrow. Anytime I will be free. I'm gonna send you this script for the summary of everything that I was doing, so that you can read them again. And then remember, now at least you can see that the most important thing that you need to know, it was what it was. In summary, things that you needed to know, it was what is proton, and then what is neutron, and then electron, and then what is first, I will just say energy level, ne?
Yes.
Energy level. Now you understand that in energy levels, the first level, it contains 2. Then after that, the second contains 3. Then there will be a third level if it have more than 8. Ne? And then what is electronegativity? And then, yeah. So everything that we have talked about there, I will write a note for you. I will use Word. And then I'm also going to give you the solutions, everything that we have been doing today in a PDF format. I will send you to your WhatsApp.
Okay.
Then you can take a break. Then we're going to continue tomorrow. We'll talk on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Also, if you're going to need me to help you with maths, if you want to boost your results, maybe to go up to 90%, then we're going to talk. I will also talk to your mother. Ne?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.